Hello, everybody. This is Amorous Cat here today with Magnus. I just want to do a little debrief about, Magnus, you made a video about yesterday's conversation, or what we tried to have a conversation with, and in regards to some of his views. It didn't go so well, and just to go over several points that he brought up about Kurnalism. Magnus, and I would suggest everybody channel as well, VC, and take a look at some of the things that Neff was saying yesterday, and you'll see sort of what I'm talking about. Just very not very receptive at all to new ideas or old ideas in this case. Would you say that was your impression, Magnus?
Yes, I would very much say that was the impression that Nephilim Free gave by both his behavior and just the way that he ran the hangout in general, claiming that he wanted to do intelligent conversation. However, I never got that vibe about having an open conversation while I was in the room.
No, I wasn't really impressed, and even I think there was an atheist in the room too, Joe. And usually when I talk to atheists, they're even less receptive than religious people, and it just sort of blew my mind how Joe was sort of trying to support me and give me time to speak, even though we didn't agree on the same on the issues all the time. But Evan, I don't for some reason. Well, I think I know why, Magnus. What we do in kernalism is our ideas are against the current establishment, right? Evan, and well, he definitely grew up in a society and a culture which, conditioned him to reject the ideas that we're trying to bring forth, the truth, really. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of all of their operations, is to make it a visceral rejection, so that people won't even use any remote essence of critical thinking when it comes to these ideas. And it's really sad for me to see, because I think just from yesterday, you can tell Evan's somewhat intelligent. He's well versed in what he believes, but he can't grasp that the things that he believes, they might be things that I want him to believe.
And I will agree, it is kind of sad because it seems like there are barely any actual open-minded people these days. It's like you're either programmed by religion that you've been indoctrinated into, or even sadder, sometimes you actually get programmed. I would almost say that atheism itself is becoming like a philosophy, that it just makes you reject a whole bunch of different ideas that you normally wouldn't be open to, because it gives you this bias that everything is naturalistic, which is just not the case with our known universe.
And right, that's the point I was trying to make yesterday too. And I think it was going well before he heard, kernalism, what is this? I've heard bad things about it. But before then, we were talking about things like consistency, right? We're talking about things like facts. And it's really, we come back to kernalism, and what you have is consistency that predates the Neolithic Revolution, predates agriculture. You have facts, everything that he states, the true things, and they fit his story, right? But then we go back to the idea that there are all these stories, and what were we arguing about yesterday? What was the whole entire conversation about? Oh, well, my story says it this way. No, my story says it this way. There were the facts at all about what's happening in the world. No discussion about the path to peace. It's really you can tell, and so it's so transparent, and it's really sort of blows my mind that how can we go about showing people, telling people take a step back and look at it through your own eyes, and what somebody in a position of power taught you when you were little. That's a really tough problem, I think, Magnus.
It is a tough problem, but again, we do have to be careful because so many of our Kurnalism brothers, I feel, it gives them don't use it as an excuse to go down the rabbit hole, because you can start believing a whole bunch of weird things as well. Because
no, I
we're
agree.
not conspiracy theorists.
No, and we heard plenty of that yesterday. There was some guy Earth, and you hear all this sort of disinformation, and that's coming from somewhere, right? That's not just somebody planted that information there for and it's to obfuscate the truth. I mean, what would you do if you had an incentive, right? That's the local path that you would take. So it's frustrating. It really is.
Yes, I've heard conspiracy theorists, at least conspiracy theory itself, as a movement. I heard it described as it's taking skepticism too far. It is good to question things, but you do not want to question things to the point where it's you're letting your brains leak out.
No, I agree. And sometimes I feel like a lot of the modern day religions, especially on the extreme ends, they're ways of mocking human beings and mocking critical thinking, to the extreme. And in a way, they're mocking kernalism. They refuse in every single form, every single way imaginable to conform to the core tenets of kernalism. Right? They don't follow the 3 pillars at all, and it's just sort of in your face. It's ridiculous, and it's so extreme that you think there's no way, right? Even some things Evan was. There's no way. If nobody had told him those things in the first place, he wouldn't believe them, right? He thinks, oh well, he starts from a premise where the Bible the first. There were construct of ideas created by men is just more of that disinformation, more of that obfuscation. Ever since the agricultural revolution, you've had people who have interests, and this isn't some ever. You have people in controlling where resources are being dealt, right? Suddenly you have a surplus. Somebody wants to be in control of that surplus. It's biological, really. And that's the other thing. Yesterday, they don't apparently he doesn't believe in evolution. To me, that's crazy, Magnus.
Well, you want to talk about consistency, and it seems like he doesn't even follow where common sense and provable science even leads. And
exactly.
that is just a big negative in my books. I don't know about how you go about things, but as far as the path to kernalism, I see real life examples.
Not only are there life examples, the history too just goes so far back. You hear about it's not like Evan was talking about a bunch of names, right? He's just listing off names as if that's the consistency, as if that's real evidence of history, right? But he never stopped to wonder, why is this so obvious? Why is this person, so conveniently somebody went back and said, "Oh, look at this name. Let's name this person after them." You can't. It's backwards thinking if you take that as your core evidence for consistency. If you look at something like kernalism, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's here today as well. The Bible doesn't list names that we see, people here living with us today. Everything he's talking about was, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. In the big picture, that's nothing. Kernalism has its roots. I would say, Max, and would you agree with me? Since the dawn of time, really, before humans existed.
Yes,
before
it
this
has
universe
its roots.
existed.
Yes, because
and there's evidence in that.
Yeah, I mean, unlike it has its roots like in the very fabric of reality itself. Like a lot of people just don't realize how spiritual the world they live in really is and how we're all interconnected.
I think it's because of the stories that they're told, right? And it works. The people in power, right? Why do you think? And I'm biased because I'm from the United States, as are you, Magnus. But why do you the people, in power in the United States have always been religious? And this goes for the whole entire history of the world. In one way or another, it's always been a cult of personality, a cult of organized religion, in quotation marks, right? It's organized, plant ideas into people's minds so that people can stay in power. It's so worldly that it's disgusting, really. And then you end up with people like Evan, who you can't process it, And I think I can imagine being like that, where it's just sort of a visceral rejection. Oh, this can't be, everything that I've ever been told is wrong. Or I imagine it sort of being led around in a large department store, right, with your mom. You don't want to let go of her hand, right, because then you feel lost. How do I interpret this evidence? Right? They were talking about erosion yesterday. How do I go about thinking about that, right? Oh, what does that actually mean? Instead of taking on your mom's hand and saying, "Oh, Mom, what does this mean?" You let go and you figure it out for yourself, right? It's not like atheists who reject everything. Okay, atheists are a whole another boat. I think, Magnus. They and they'll agree with you. They'll pretend like they agree with you. I think we saw that yesterday with Joe. At least he let me speak, though. At least he let me speak. But
yes,
they'll
pretend more open-minded on the outside, but they've gone to the point where their skepticism has stopped their brains from receiving new ideas, like our philosophy, for instance.
Well, and I wouldn't touch to even say atheism is its own story, right? It's not the truth. And there are people who have, just say it this way, their institutions benefit. It doesn't benefit the path to truth, the path to peace. I'm sorry. Well, which is, coincidentally also the truth. And it doesn't benefit or the universe or any individual. It's just more distraction. It's more argument over semantics and, oh, well, my story is true. All atheists say is, oh, well, our story is true, which is that all of these have no merit. They don't understand that
I think more
They
people need
can't.
to let go of their programming and just like really see where all the different types of evidence takes them. Wouldn't you agree?
I know I completely programmed to say, well, the reason are so obviously wrong is they are
It's
man-made.
it's getting
Their
it's get
stories.
it's getting kind of hard to understand you. I
Being
think you're breaking up a bit.
told.
Amherst Cat, I think your connection is lagging because it's getting really hard to understand you.
The truth. And that's really
Yeah, it's getting a little hard to comprehend what you're saying. Maybe you might want to check your connection or something.
a
Well, perhaps some other time when you get better Wi-Fi, maybe we should continue this. But for right now, since your connection's so bad, maybe we should wrap things
business,
up.
but I think Magnus and I'll
We apologize for the bad connection, everybody. We were having some technical difficulties. Perhaps we should continue this some other time, but for right now, our connection is really bad. We apologize. Well, I can hear you now, so maybe we should just quickly wrap things up. Well, that happens to be the end of our conversation. It was a little bit hard to hear us because we are experiencing some pretty bad technical difficulties, but hopefully next time we will have all the different bugs and kinks sorted out. Again, we do not have the hugest budget out there, so just bear with us while we're trying to still get things painfully set up, and hopefully we will have a much better and more well-equipped platform when it comes to talking about these particular subjects and just helping everybody out there discover the truth. So with that being said, this has been VC Magnus, one of the founders of Modern Day Kurnalism Ministries. Be sure to check out the blog and just search up The Path to Kurnalism on Google+. You'll find my main channel, and you can also search up VC Magnus. And with that being said, that has been the end of our broadcast because we're just having really bad connection issues right now. So thanks for joining us. We are sorry that this broadcast got pretty useless near the end. And hopefully next time we won't have so many complications. When I exit the broadcast here, I'm not even sure if the thing is going to stop being live because the host was just disconnected from the call. So just feel free to click off this video after I say goodbye. So goodbye and thank you for your time.